Hello, you little YouTubers. Here's your friend, Velma Hagar, coming to you from Palm Desert, California, where the weather is sunshiny, but high winds are expected today. I think I could have made a good weather girl. What do you guys think? Well, the first thing I want to say to you is, who's looking at you, kiddo? I don't have a drink today. I just walked in the door and I thought I've got to do a video today and I don't have a lot of time, so here I am with no drink in my hand and full of life. Yeah. Okay. Now, the first thing I want you to do is hit that subscribe button. Hit that. All right? And hit like. And we'll go from there. Now, you know, one of the things I want to talk about today, it's a pretty serious subject. You know, there's a book out that's called When Your Father Dies. You know, I heard a teaching on this. And, you know, and since I have lost both parents, I'm also somewhat of an expert. I'm going to tell you something, you guys. Losing a parent is so profound. I mean, it's like, you know, I don't know what it's like to lose a child, and to me, I think that would probably be the worst. But other than that child, I don't think anything's worse than losing your parent. Even though, I have to say this, there's a provision made for this because there's a natural time, you know, that we watch them get older and we start kind of preparing our heart because we know that, you know, when they're a certain age that at any time we could lose them. I really want to encourage you to get it right with your parents. You know, I can't believe how many people have issues with their parent. You know, daughters that have issues with their mother because they don't like who they are. They don't like it because they're different than them, or they feel competitive with them. I don't know. For whatever reason, there's so many mother-daughter issues. And father issues are just rampant on both sides, the male and the female. Look, I didn't intend to talk about this part, but I'm going to say it. The word says, honor your mother and your father, that it may go well for you, and you may live long in the land. What do you think? God's word isn't true? That you don't honor your parents? You don't, well, I don't like them because they did this and they did that. God doesn't say anything about that. He says, honor your mother and your father. And you know, to say rude things to your parent, one of these days, you're going to say something rude and walk away from them and you're never going to be able to see them again. And I know this because when my dad died, I was 31 years old. And I never had a relationship with my dad. To this day, I feel cheated. And I had the hardest time when he died. After he died, I carried so much guilt for the way I treated him. Now, he didn't deserve anything good from me because he was an awful dad. He was an awful husband to my mother, but he was still my dad. And I really want to encourage you to honor your mother and your father, no matter what they're like. You're going to have to honor them. God doesn't say, honor your mother and your father unless he's a bad alcoholic or unless you don't like her. It doesn't say that. There's no exceptions to this. Honor them. Honor them. And I know a lot of people say that honoring is living your life, a good life, and that does honor your parents. There's no doubt about that. But I will submit to you that God meant it in both ways. To live a good life, and that will honor them and honor them. Lift them up, no matter what they're like. Be a good child to them. Now, let's go back to when they die. Because when you lose a parent, you guys, my mother and I were like this. I adored her. I used to think, what will I ever do if my mother died? And you know, I have to tell you that when my mother died, I handled it so much better than when my dad died. Because I didn't have a good relationship with my dad. And that was where that pain came in. Oh my gosh. I went through such, just anxiety and panic attacks and depression, all kinds of horrible things because I did not have a good relationship with my dad. My mom, I didn't have any guilt, none whatsoever. I knew that I knew I'd done everything I could have done to be a good daughter to my mother. And if your relationship with your parent is free of guilt, I guarantee you, you're going to go through it so much easier. Now, with that said, I want to say this. Don't let guilt torment you. God never uses guilt. He never uses guilt to teach children things, teach anybody anything. That's the devil's tool, guilt. Look, even if you weren't as good of a child or son or daughter as you should have been, if you did your best, if you tried your best, don't let guilt sneak in there. Simply say to yourself, look, when you've lived with a parent, like my mother died when I was 65, I think. In 65 years, I guarantee you, I did or said things that I wish I wouldn't have done or said. But I never let myself go there, and don't let yourself go there either. That's the thing I want to say to you. No matter what you did as a child, say to yourself, look, I did the best I could do. I didn't do a perfect job, but I did the best I can do. Don't let the devil use guilt against you when your parent dies. That's the number one thing I want to say. Because losing a parent has a very strong impact on you. It's powerful to lose a parent. It's powerful. Don't let guilt get in there. And the other thing I want to say is just walk it out. You know, you're not going to get by without any grief. You know, the word says there's a time to grieve and a time to be happy. The word calls it out. There is a time to grieve. But God has prepared us for grief. We're capable of dealing with grief and going through it fairly, it's normal, I guess I want to say. So don't expect that you won't have grief, but pray for a gentle grief. You know, I want to tell you, my mother and I, everybody thought, oh my God, what will Velma do if mother dies? What will she ever do? Velma did fine when mother died because God helped me get through it. I went through it so smooth. You know, I feel like I did walk it out. I had my moments that I cried. There's no doubt about it. But it's a normal way, for mankind to feel. So it was normal and healthy. So don't be surprised that you're grieving, but it does not have to be awful. As long as you are doing what you need to do while your parent is alive, even with you making some mistakes along the way. Always remember you did the best you could do. Don't let grief come in there. That's my big thing I want to say. And then just walk it out. And, you'll find you'll be taking on some of your parents, especially if you had a good parent like I had my mother. I found that what I did was I remember saying to her, when she was dying, I knew she was dying, I said, I'll take your mantle. I'll take your mantle, Mom. I said it 3 times. I'll take your mantle. And the mantle is actually what they are known for, who they really are in the Lord. And so after I said it, I thought, gosh, I don't even know what I meant by that. I don't know what I'm taking. And then my pastor used the words with me, walk it out. You don't have to know what it was. You just walk it out and it'll come upon you in time. So, okay? Now, buy my books. Hidden Treasures in Dark Places. I got it upside down and I'm kind of ashamed of that. But not too ashamed. I mean, it's just kind of my style, I guess. And Hidden Treasures in Secret Places. I got it upside down. What a clod. You can tell I'm not rehearsed. All right, you guys, you got it? My 2 books. And subscribe. And remember, no grief, no guilt when you have grief. No guilt. Don't let it get in there. All right, until next time, this is your friend Velma Hagar bidding you a blessed day. Bye.